Hey, this is Raulh here. Please act right. I wanted to make this video addressing women out there who say they will not date a man unless his education, scholastic-wise, matches hers, meaning college educated. So here's what happened to me today. So I'm at the grocery store, and this woman approaches me and asks me if I was single. And I told her yes. Then she asked me, did I go to college? And I was like, well, I did a first semester, but I dropped out. So then this woman looks me up and down and says, okay, all right, thank you. And just walks away. Did this woman just walk away from me because I didn't have a college degree? A college education has nothing to do with a man's level of intelligence. Ladies, you have no idea how many good men you're passing up, do you? Some of us men decide not to go to college because of our specific reasons, like we couldn't afford it. That's not why God put us on this earth. Or like me, because I just wasn't interested in going. Why? Well, I remember sitting in my geometry class many years ago. One day, we were studying the isosceles triangle. While I was sitting there, I thought to myself, how is knowing about the isosceles triangle gonna help me with whatever it is I become in my life? I thought about all the classes you have to take when you're in high school, like math and science and history and French, all that stuff. Am I gonna use any of this stuff when I get out into the real world? Then I thought about college. It's the same thing. Taking all these classes that have no relevance on what I may become when I graduate. Now, by no means am I telling people to not go to college. Do you? But it made no sense for me. Then a funny thing started happening when I started looking back over my life. I noticed one thing about myself. When I'm interested in a subject, I go all the way in on it. When I'm not interested in a subject, I'm not interested in a subject. Check it out. After high school, I went to junior college and I majored in accounting. Let me show you how interested I was during that class. Boy, did I choose the wrong subject. Well, I ended up dropping out halfway through the first semester, and then I joined the military, the Air Force, and I started working on F-16 fighter jets. Once I became fascinated with the aircraft, I learned and knew everything about that jet because I was interested in it. See where I'm going with this so far? With no college education. Well, I didn't like the military, but I loved working on aircraft. So I decided to study and get my aircraft maintenance license to work on civilian aircraft. I studied my butt off, and when I took the final exam, I blew the test away. I even got hired at Delta Airline back in 1991 with no college education. Yup, sure did. But back then, the Saudi Arabia thing kicked off, and it went on a hiring freeze, so I never could actually take the job. So I ended up going back working part-time for the company that I worked for before I went to the military. Then I got promoted to a full-time driver with the largest delivery company in the world. I'm not gonna say that name though. What can Brown do for you? And being a full-time driver, I was making some good money with no college education. I was making more money as a truck driver than a lot of my friends who had college education. But I wanted more. See the ambition? So I decided to get my real estate license. And I was in class like this. Okay. Question, I got a question. Why? Because we were only studying real estate. Not history, not math, not science. All that stuff that has nothing to do with real estate. When it was time to take the final exam, I blew the test away. I scored very high with no college education because I was interested in the subject, and that's all we studied, real estate. But that wasn't good enough, so I decided to go after my broker's license. See the ambition? Y'all see where I'm going with this, right? I paid for the online study guide and studied my butt off. I was in class like, I know the answer, pick me. When it was time for me to take the class final exam, I called the testing center and made an appointment for the exam. When I got there, I told the two young ladies I was there to take the broker's exam, and they asked me which one. I said, all of them. They looked at me like I was crazy. See, there were 5 different exams you had to take, and you had to pass them in order to qualify for the state exam. Clearly, nobody had ever come in there and took all 5 exams at the same time. So they set me up in a room, and 3.5 hours later, I came back out for them to score my exams. Now, this was back when they was doing everything on paper. Those 2 young ladies were like, oh my God, I gotta see if he passed these. Nobody ever came in there and took all these exams at the same time, and I passed 4 of them, but I failed one, the financial exam. I realized I failed because once my mind says, why do I need to know this as a broker? The financial side, you're gonna send the person to a loan officer. Why do I need to know this? My brain tends to shut down because I'm not really interested in it. Well, I went back 2 weeks later and I blew the test away with no college education. Unfortunately, I didn't take the state exam because it was 2008 and that's when the market tanked. But I saved all my money, and in 2012, I started buying cash single-family homes and made a killing renting those houses out. I did very well with no college education. Well, some years went by and I was doing financially well, and I decided, I think I'll get my insurance license. Y'all see the ambition here, right? I was in class like, oh, I know the answer. Pick me. Because it was a subject I was interested in. When it was time to take the final class exam, I blew it away. I scored very high with no college education because it was a subject that I was interested in, and that's all we studied was insurance. When I went to take the state exam, that test was hard. There were people that were taking it for their second and their third time. One young lady said, yeah, this is my second time. I said, for both tests? She said, no, I'm just trying to pass the first one. I went there to take both of them at the same time. And I passed both tests the first time out with no college education. I've made 6 figures a year for so many years, I've lost count. With no college education. With all that being said, this woman walked away from me because I didn't have a college education. Now please understand, I'm nowhere near perfect, but let me run down my attributes to you. Shall I? I'm responsible, reliable, dependable. I know how to fix just about anything on a car. I know how to fix just about anything on a house. I'm honest. I come home. I bring my loving home. I bring my paychecks home. Paychecks home. Paychecks. Man, stop bragging. I'm not bragging. I'm just letting them know. I'm not in the strip clubs. I'm not at the racetrack gambling to rent money away. I'm trustworthy and I treat women with the utmost respect. Always have and always will. Now, I'm not bragging, but I'm making a point. I've made 6 figures as a truck driver. I've owned real estate. I own stocks. I invest in IUL insurance policies. I make money selling insurance policies and annuities. I have my Notary Public certification. I've written 2 books and I'm working on number 3. I have a website and 2 YouTube channels that are doing very well. I'm now taking a marriage counseling course, and after that, I'll be taking a life coaching course to get certified in that with no college education. So here's my serious question for women only looking for men with college degrees. Do I really have to have a college education for you to take me seriously? You'd be surprised what some of us men who don't have college education are capable of doing. So for the college educated women out there who are only looking for college educated men, good luck. And by the way, just because he has a college education does not mean he's a good man. So if you enjoyed this video, check out one of these 2 videos right here. I'm sure you'll enjoy. And if you want, you can go to my channel and check out videos I have there. I got plenty of them. Go ahead. Don't be scared.